Unmuted the
Yeah.
wrong one. That's okay.
That's right. Sorry, it just sounded like I was talking to myself.
Speed run entry. Here we go. Welcome to the White Gray Black Weekly Manga podcast channel, the podcast where we talk about all the latest, greatest ongoing manga releases. My name is Bruce. This is Gautam.
Hello again.
Listen to us on your podcast provider of choice. Find us on YouTube at White Gray Black or the WGB Weekly Manga podcast channel. Patreon, WGB Manga. We are going to spoil 1,077 chapters of One Piece. There's only a single chapter of Mujina Into the Deep and chapter 100 of Witch Watch. Blah, blah, blah. Go click us, go like us, go encourage all of that stuff. That intro might have been better than the last one. So, anyways.
It actually was, yeah.
Anyways, let's get into the news because there is a ton of news this past week, even though we skipped a week. So we're doing sort of a 2-week stint at the start of March here. This past week had way more news than 7 days ago or more, so I don't even know where to start. Let's start with happy birthday to Naoko Takeuchi. That is the creator of Sailor Moon. She is an undisclosed age. You're not supposed to tell a woman's age, but yeah, happy birthday to her. That is today, is March 15th. So.
Oh, hey, that's awesome. Married to Togashi.
Yes, married to Togashi.
A long time, too. Good for them.
Yeah, I've heard rumors he might create manga sometimes, but you never know.
No, he's just a writer. He's just a writer.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
There was a leak. Oh, what? Go ahead.
My keyboard died. I was going to ping you this, but can you stream on Discord again? Yeah, thank you.
Oh, it should be up.
Yeah, okay. Just came back up.
It's
all right.
okay.
Go on.
Had a thing going. Okay. There was a leak earlier today, which has now been taken down, that I just saw on Twitter. Screen Rant, I believe, leaked that Kodansha, which is one of the big manga publishers, they publish stuff like Attack on Titan. They set up. Oh, I'm getting feedback through your mic, maybe?
Is that me?
Maybe.
Still?
It's okay now. What was I saying? Kodansha announced but leaked K-Manga, which is going to be a US manga reader app. With simulpubs. I never know how to say that word. Simulpubs. Simultaneous publications.
I say simulpubs.
Simulpubs?
But
yeah.
I don't think there's a real way to say it. You just say it however you want.
Yeah, it's one of those smashed up words. But yeah, but that's pretty big news. Kodansha does not have this, right? Every Attack on Titan chapter that I ever read was fan translated, and then they published, Viz or somebody, published the volumes. But Kodansha has not, as far as I know, had a Western manga app. So this is, in my opinion, this is really big news that we get this. So
it is huge news, and I think it also goes to show the success of Manga Plus, right?
I think absolutely.
Yeah.
Manga Plus, even just the Viz reader is pretty good. Let me see. But yeah, I mean, this is really cool in my opinion because, I mean, Simulpubs especially is that's a pretty big endeavor. That's a big Western team, I would assume, or, larger than, one guy, right? Like that's probably a team of 10 to 20 people doing that, depending on the weekly stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, this means that we'll get, let me see what some of the currently published things that Kodansha does that we might be getting now. I
gotta say, if they were 1 year earlier on this would have been even bigger because Attack on Titan was still going.
Yeah, Attack on Titan I think ended in 2020 or 2021, but yeah, they're 2 or 3 years late for it, but it definitely would have been bigger. Yeah, I mean, Cells at Work is pretty big. For some reason, they don't have like any. Oh no, the 2020s. Here we go. Oh no, they just literally don't have any listed for the last 2 years. I'm sure there's stuff on there to read. I just don't know what it is exactly. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm hyped for this to come out. I hope that it is good quality. I hope that it is at least close in quality to something like Manga Plus or the Viz Reader, which are both pretty decent after they fixed that scrolling thing on the Viz Reader, which used to send you to the top when you got to the bottom. Because that was around for like 4 years. And that was...
Oh, that was on Manga Plus. Yeah, that was so annoying.
Yeah, Manga Plus, yeah. Yeah, you would get to the very last page, it would shoot you to the top, you'd have to scroll all the way back down. That was annoying.
Maybe I got used to it, but have they fixed the spread things yet? Like, where it doesn't show a spread properly?
The spreads are still listed as 2 individual pages, so yeah, that is still annoying. So if you're reading vertical, where the pages appear on top of each other, the spread pages, which should, in my opinion, and probably 99% of manga readers, be combined into a single page so that you can see the whole thing at a time and zoom in. That does not happen on Manga Plus on your phone. You have to do it in side-by-side mode. I think it'll do that. I know on browser on side-by-side mode it'll do that. So,
honestly, people, officials really need to catch up to like Manga Dex.
I was about to say, we'll call it by name, even though it's maybe a little hush hush. But yeah, Manga Dex is like miles ahead of everything. The best reader. And if you were on mobile, I have an application called Tachiyomi, which also has a very good reader, and you can add Manga Dex and stuff like that. Anyways, we're not advertising anything illegal on this podcast, so allegedly, all those things you said are alleged claims.
We like to talk in hypotheticals here.
Right, hypothetically, if there was a application called Tachiyomi that could just link right into stuff like allegedly Bato.to or Manga Dex and just has a great reader, allegedly, you might want to download that. It's really good. Bakemonogatari manga ended. I never sat down and read this start to finish, but I'm familiar enough with Bakemonogatari that I dipped into it a couple times. I think it was a really good series. That is, the art in that is by Oh Great, or if in the Japanese way, his name is Oh Greato, and Nisoi Isin. Final volume for that releases May 22nd. They did not adapt every light novel that Nisoi Isin wrote. I believe they adapted, I want to say, the first 4 or 5, some of the side stories, and then the prequel book. So
that's
6 or 7.
That's the one with the really good artist, right? Like that's the Monogatari series.
Oh Great is an amazing artist. Yeah, incredibly good.
I'm stoked for that. They can go work on maybe a new series and
I'm definitely excited.
Flex their stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder. I don't know how involved Nisoi Isin was with the writing of it, since the writing kind of already happened. I do know the writing was changed ever so slightly, so I don't know if Oh Great did all of that, did the rewriting from Nisoi Isin's base, or if Nisoi Isin was involved. I mean, we'll see later on that he might be busier. So yeah. Anything else on Bakemonogatari there?
No, just that I got to watch that show. It's good.
It's one of my favorite shows. Yeah.
Yeah, you tell me how freaking good it is. And really the only reason I stopped watching it after the first few episodes is those pause frames. There's like words once in a while.
Yeah, there's like black frame and like black, white, black. They're literally just colors and words that are supposed to convey stuff. If you get a good translation of it, those will be translated and they'll be easy to follow. They are not super important to keep track of. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was just like, man, I am not doing this show justice right now because I'm not paying attention to these. So I'll just come back to it. Is what I was thinking at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty wild, but that is one of my favorite anime of all time. In the same vein as one of our first ones, the new K Manga app that's another alleged that's leaked. Officially, Shueisha, right? This is the owner of Weekly Shonen Jump, all of the Jump properties. They registered the name Jumptoon trademarked, and I believe they have a website for it. People are assuming, and me included, that this is going to be potentially for Jump published webtoons. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they will go to Korea to get those, or if that will just be sort of a different style of comic. They will do webtoon style with Japanese authors, or could be multicultural, could be lots of people doing webtoon stuff. So that's really interesting.
I have to guess that it isn't anything Japanese. I think it's like everything but manga or Japanese manga. You know what I mean?
Potentially, yeah.
That would make a lot of sense. And I think webtoons, that site is kind of the dominant site for it.
Correct.
But I feel like it can very easily be crushed in a few ways by bigger organizations. So I could see it as like kind of trying to occupy some market space there,
I could definitely see it being more of a rival to webtoons, right? Like if other international publishers wanted to push their webtoons through Jumptoon instead of Webtoon, I could see that being an easy... an easy sort of edge into the market, because Shueisha is already the biggest piece of the market in Japan. So I think they have sort of the money they can dump in to get a head start here. And yeah, but I mean, the other alternative is they might just be making original webtoons the same way that they do original manga. So who knows?
And I gotta say, like Webtoons, for kind of an official Webtoons location, has kind of last time I checked has kind of scuffed translations for a few of their things, and Jump has the best translators in the biz. So
Jump has
far.
really good translators. Yeah, I
could see I can see market potential there for Jump.
there's definitely a corner. Yeah, I mean, there's a corner they can take either if they choose to just buy from Korea and publish those, or if they are doing their own originals. I think both ways are good market decisions. It could be a combination of both. Also,
Mm-hmm.
that's another huge. I mean, Kodansha getting into the Western manga publishing, and then Shueisha potentially getting into Korean Western webtoon publishing. Like that's, I mean, in the you know 5.5 months, no 5.5 months that we've been doing this podcast, that's probably the biggest news we've heard. That's a huge move from both of those companies, and Kodansha and Shueisha are both. Shueisha especially is the largest chunk of the Japanese manga market, and Kodansha is another very large part of it. So
they occupy very similar spaces, so it's good to see like them working together. We saw that with like the Tower of God adaptation, and what is that other Noblesse?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Noblesse, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, we've had a bunch of. Isn't God of High School also a webtoon that
got an
God of High
anime
out of Japan?
Yeah,
So
it did.
yeah, and I think that those things happening might have opened the doors to these kinds of things happening, right? I mean, publishing company in Korea works with an anime company who has ties to a manga company. Yeah, I'm sure that is all connected somewhere behind the scenes. Who knows if we'll ever hear about it, but
yeah, honestly, it all happens with like a simple elevator handshake sometimes. Kind of just
for
how
sure, yeah.
that's how the pitch of Kingdom Hearts happened in an elevator.
Well,
Literal.
I mean,
Oh yeah, we know how you
so
feel
everybody
about
else, time travel machine, I'll go back and kill Hitler. No, I go back and stop Kingdom Hearts from ever going past a single game. It should be Kingdom Hearts 1 was an excellent game, standalone, cool, great. Stop there.
I want to do a Ghost of Christmas Past situation where I tell them not to put it on every single console and make it a continuous story. You know,
you can't split a story over 6 different consoles. It will never work. No one will ever understand what's going on.
I'll show them the gravestone of Kingdom Hearts 3 at the end of the story.
God, yeah.
And say, this is what happens if you do this. Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, continuing the news. This is the reprint block. This one's a surprise. Are you ready for this? Cypher Academy, which the news that I've heard about it has been that it has not been very well received. We have both dropped that, I think, a month or more ago. Cypher Academy Volume 1 is getting a reprint. So,
why? That's baffling.
I wonder if this was them under ordering the first print, or if some word of mouth, something. I don't know. This one, Cypher Academy, is weird to me. We will see how that goes. Last I saw, it was, I think, last or second to last in the Shueisha publishing reporting from Weekly Shonen Jump. But who knows? The other, the other reprint things are pretty. Other reprint things are much more. Understandable. Ichinose Family Volume 1 is getting reprinted. Kindergarten Wars Volume 1 getting a reprint and a pre-release reprint of Volume 2 for Kindergarten Wars, so which I think is good. I think Kindergarten Wars, like we talked about, is a super good, super valuable thing. So,
and a pre-release reprint, that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even know that.
What I assume that is you have to order the print ahead of time, right? I mean, order the print, it's printed, you have them, for probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then for shipping and distributing them, probably they have ordered the print of Volume 2, right? Because the Volume 2 print is going to hit April 1st.
And Volume 1 is selling so well, they're like, oh shit, we don't have enough. Yeah, okay, got it.
And so the Kindergarten Wars reprint of Volume 1, I think, is out like the 29th of March or the 22nd of March or something. So they're basically just saying, we assume Volume 2 is going to sell out from our initial order. We are already ordering more. But yeah.
That's cool. Hey, good for Kindergarten Wars.
Yeah, I think it's a great series. I'm looking forward. We haven't gotten a chapter in a while, but that might have gotten an official. Might be getting an official translation. I don't remember.
Yeah, I wonder.
Speaking of official, that's not a good transition, so I'll cut it right there. My Hero Academia is on the sudden break officially. Horikoshi taking a break for health. That's official also.
I thought you were going to say Horikoshi's officially sick. I was like,
oh, that would have been a good one. I tried. My mind wasn't making the connection. Official reports tell us, Horikoshi, My Hero on break. They were on break last week Saturday, which I think was the Sunday, the 11th or 12th, right? The 12th, yeah. So break on the 12th. He will not be back on the 19th. He will supposedly maybe be back on the 26th. We'll see. Good well wishes and good health to the artist there.
The dude grinds, so I hope he gets a good break out of this.
His art's great, yeah. And I think his art has actually been especially good in these last 4 or 5 months, the whole kind of final arc we're going through. So hopefully it's
for
good.
Sure.
Speaking of return dates, Frieren returns on March 22nd. So 1 week from today, we should be getting a new chapter of Frieren in Japan, and we'll get it probably a day or two after here in the West. So excited for that.
Love to see it, and just in time to hype up the anime coming out.
Yes, which I assume is kind of the intended track lineup there. So I assume that they probably took a break to do a lot of consulting on the anime and then planned to return to publishing near when the anime is airing. So yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be good.
Me too. It's always good. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Friren's one of the best things being published right now. So speaking of one of the best things being published, Actage artist Shiro Usazaki. That's a hard one to do in Western tongue. Shiro Usazaki is publishing a new one-shot titled Kimi to Ao... I can't do Japanese today. It's not happening. Kimi to Aoi Yoru no. With an original story written by Kida Saori and drafted by Muneakin Taoka. That's just a lot of Japanese words that were really hard to say.
Good for her. I'm glad she landed another gig, because what happened to Actage wasn't her fault at all.
No, but her art in it was great. I remember, I think I had started reading Actage whenever the news of its sort of impromptu cancellation based on the author's bad actions came through. But yeah, I think I remember seeing that she's done a couple of sort of one-off drawings, probably, whatever artists like that do draw for publications or advertisements or something. But yeah, good to see she's coming back with a one-shot. I didn't see who is publishing that one-shot, or if it's a test or teaser for a full series or just a one-shot. But either way, I mean, it could be a big, long one-shot, right? Could be a 60, 70, 80-page one-shot, which those take months to make. So we'll have to see. So keep an eye out for that. That's called Kimi to Aoi Yoru no. Speaking of... I can't do the transition anymore. I'm just lost in it.
Yeah. Hold on.
We got it.
Let me do the transition really quick.
It.
Speaking of, wait, I didn't do it right either. Speaking of, now you take it. Not.
No, it's not.
But, do you want me to deliver it too? Okay, hold on. Okay,
here we go. No, I gotta go. Speaking of acting.
Speaking of what?
Wow, we fucked this up. Okay, no, I got it.
I thought that was great.
Speaking of acting. There was another leak that Pseudo Harem is getting an anime.
That's awesome.
This is a good little series that stopped publishing maybe about a year ago. It ended, a year and a half maybe.
And honestly, that series is like the perfect example of like all fluff, no drama, but it was just entertaining. Worked well.
Yeah, really great.
That'll be great.
I think this is off the back of Tomo-chan being a successful anime so far, because I think that Tomo-chan and Pseudo Harem are both kind of similarly positioned manga, right? They're kind of small little tidbit published Twitter or one.
They're like 4-koma. Is that how you say it? 4-koma?
Yeah, 4-koma. Yeah. Was Pseudo Harem or 4-koma? Maybe
I think it was.
I think it maybe started as it, and because the last couple of chapters I remember being like 8 or 9 pages each, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah. But it has the same vibe. You're right.
It does. It's very just sort of like comfy, goofy, funny. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty hype. Okay. Speaking of hype, no more transition.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Just touch it.
Speaking
just
of
tell me about the new
adaptations. If a flower doesn't adapt, it dies. Here's the next piece of news. Moebana is ending. That is this flower shonen love thing. Yeah. I remember reading the first chapter or two of this. Did you ever read this, Moebana?
No, I haven't. I've seen it around, but I haven't read any of it.
Yeah,
What did you think?
I mean, I only read maybe the first 2 chapters. It was not for me. I don't think it
Mhm.
was written with my my sort of gaze or taste in mind. It seemed fine. It seemed like it had a decent, a decent middling following over here. I remember most of the chapters getting, I don't know, 200 to 400 upvotes on the Reddit threads. So not
Okay,
not
yeah,
super
that
big,
was
but not super small. It
decently
ran
popular.
almost a full year. I think it maybe went 55, 60 chapters. So
Oh,
not bad.
okay. Huh.
Definitely an author that could go on to do more things I'd be interested in, but who knows? Thought I would just call that out because I believe that is a Jump Plus property there. So,
Hey, well, good for you, Moibana fans. Hope the ending was good.
yep. Speak.
Okay, so
No, you
bro,
got one about this?
just fucking tell me about this because this is insane. What you posted here, and I have not heard about
Have
it.
you really
So,
not heard about this? Okay, speaking of
no.
endings and the end of the world, there's a One Punch Man Overwatch crossover with skins. Did you not see this? I'll find a picture of it and put it up.
No, I want to see this. That's weird.
I think it was Kiriko Tatsumaki. The punch guy was Saitama.
I guess that makes sense.
And there was one more. It was the bike. Oh God, who's the biker guy?
Moomin Rider.
Yeah, Moomin Rider is Soldier. Whatever. So really,
That,
nobody just has like a picture of it.
that
Okay,
one
I mean, like,
doesn't make any sense at all. Huh.
yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, like, here's the picture of like the Tatsumaki Kiriko skin. Yeah. Here's the Punch Man skin, and then where's the Moomin Rider? Yeah, here it is. These are real skins. You might think, oh, he's trolling. This isn't real. No, these are real skins. Moomin Rider Soldier 76 is a real skin. Saitama, I cannot remember the punch guy's name.
Doomfist.
Doomfist, yes. Saitama, Doomfist, and Tatsumaki Kiriko are all. These are real things. You're looking at on screen is not fake.
That is odd. The skins look good, but
they do look good. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a pretty cool, interesting crossover.
It's bizarre.
It is a little bizarre in my opinion also. Yeah. So
radiating Fortnite energy here, but
I mean,
yeah,
I'm fully is Saitama already in Fortnite? He might already be in Fortnite. I don't know.
And I don't think I think it's just Deku right now who does the punches.
Yes. Well, and I think Goku is in it. I believe there's like all the Bleach main
Naruto.
all the Naruto main characters are in it. I mean, Fortnite is a thing, but
yeah, it is pretty crazy how many IPs they have in that thing.
Yeah, I just thought this is wild, interesting thing to call out.
It's wild.
It's also strange because One Punch Man is, I mean, I guess it was a really, really big anime, and it still kind of is. I wonder if this is prep for season 3. So they announced One Punch Man season 3 was happening. I want to say winter of 2021. And then I believe we have gone almost more than a full year and hearing no news about it. Maybe it was winter 22. Maybe it's been like 6 months or something. But even then, they basically said, yes, we're making season 3. They didn't announce any staff attached to it. They didn't announce any studio. So we don't know any timing of when it's coming out. They just said, we're making it. That's it. So
I think we might have talked about this, but was it not Mappa? Was I wrong about that?
Maybe they did. I didn't think that they did.
That is like Mappa, but maybe I'm tripping. But either way, take your freaking time. After season 2, just take your time. As long as it's kind of close to season 1's quality, I'm in.
Yeah, Mappa, I believe, was a leak. Shonen Leaks.
I see.
Season 3 Tides Studio Mappa. I don't think we've gotten any official announcements. So yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised if it's Mappa, to be honest. That makes sense to me, but
they make every anime. Why wouldn't it be them?
Let's real quick
hop on over to sales.
Do some sales stuff real quick. Yep. This is for the end of February, first week of March. I don't think I grabbed the other weeks, but One Piece on top, selling an absolute fuck ton, 1 million with 3 days on sale. This isn't even a full week of sales. 3 days on sale. One Piece Volume 105, 1 million hard copies.
I love to see it.
Yep.
You shouldn't. You usually root for the underdog, but I'm so happy every time I see One Piece do well.
I'll always vote for him. Dropping to a little over half of that sales in second place here is Jujutsu Kaisen with closing in on 600,000 with 3 days on sale. Still banger numbers, right? Anybody would be through the moon to have numbers like that. And then a huge drop to number 3 at 150,000 units with Kaiju number 8, which is Kaiju number 8 is yeah. Well, I think it's a good series. It definitely has some issues in the pacing and the writing, considering it's bi-weekly / bi-monthly every 2 weeks. But
and it's pure action, so it feels short every time you read it.
Super right. We get chapters that are all action, and it feels very short. I do think Kaiju number 8 is going to be a series that is improved when it is adapted into an anime. So.
I think so too. I think the only issue they'll run into is it's going to take a while for his second season. Because
likely. Although I don't
they have to go through a lot of source.
Yeah, we probably have enough for maybe close to 2 full seasons whenever this arc finishes. But yeah, the other stuff in the top 10 here: Aoashi, Kusuriya no Hiturigoto. That's Seinen Mystery.
It's Apothecary Diaries.
That is Apothecary Diaries. Yeah,
it is freaking awesome. So,
I need to read that. I've heard so many good things about it. I think I tried to watch it has an anime, right? I'm pretty sure. I think it has one season at least. I
remember it being announced. I assume it's already out. Yeah.
Yeah. There's kind of this weird where it's top 4 shonen. There's kind of 2 seinen, I've never heard of this Jibaku shonen Hanako-kun. But that's sitting here in 6th place, which is apparently a supernatural shonen from Square Enix.
Oh, I think you might have heard of this. It's the Toilet Bound. Isn't that the one?
Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I have heard of this. I just, for some reason, the cover was not what I'm used to seeing from that series. Yeah, I have heard of Toilet Bound. Yeah. Dragon Ball Super at 7. Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt out of fucking nowhere. Volume 21 of a Gundam thing, which I don't think I've ever seen on the top 10, is in 8th place here.
Those 53,000 people are diehards, I bet. Gundam fans love Gundam, man.
And there still are a lot of Gundam fans. I have a friend who does the Gunpla Gundam building, so yeah, they're very much into it. And then the bottom 2, seinen drama and a shoujo romance, which today's not my day for reading Japanese, but here we go. Kusuriya no Hiturigoto. Wait, this is Apothecary Diaries spin-off story or something, right?
Oh, yeah. Mama is the main character. Yeah, so it is a spin-off.
Some kind of spin-off, I assume. Yep. Oni no Hanayome. Have not heard of that, but that is shoujo romance. Also, interestingly, 10 days on sale, 50,000 sold, still in the top 10. That's pretty really good numbers, by the way.
Yeah, not bad at all. Yes. It's kind of weird, actually, seeing 50K on the second week.
I was about to say that's huge. Usually things have a pretty big drop off. Usually only really big stuff stays for more than 7 days, especially in the top 10. But this is the same guy who I like to grab his pictures, who I've talked to, Josu at Jose_K. This is his February top best-selling manga series. So Blue Lock in first place, actually, which is a little surprising. Take note, no One Piece. Or no, there was a One Piece. No, I don't think there was a One Piece volume released. So, because again, Blue Lock in February here is saying sold 1.3 million copies. One Piece in 3 days sold 1 million copies. So you can bet who's winning March. My Hero in second for February, they're at 800, and Slam Dunk coming in with close to 700k copies. So everything else on here is pretty interesting. I'm really happy to see Yomi no Sugai up there at number 8. Spiritual sequel to Full Metal Alchemist by the same author and artist person.
And you see Bocchi the Rock doing well too.
Yeah,
not
Bocchi
surprising, but
still
cool to see.
Selling.
This is all standard. It makes sense to me.
Yep, looks good. Spy Family still up there. Blue Box actually at 13 is maybe, and Sakamoto Days at 12. Those are 2 newer series that I'm glad are that high up on this, because I think those are both really good. Sakamoto Days is awesome. Blue Box I think is pretty decent. So yeah, cool. So how long did that take us to get through all that news? 32 minutes. All right, that's not too bad. With my flubbed intro, probably only 28 minutes. Anyways,
you know what I think really helped us there? The awesome transitions.
The transitions definitely did not slow us down and were not awful. So yeah, for sure those are great.
Speaking of transitions, what is your discussion topic of the week, Bruce?
You're going first because I put your stuff in here. Which watch?
Speaking of transitions, let me talk about my discussion topic of the week. It is Witch Watch, chapter 100. And real quick before we do that, the Discord just stopped sharing. Can you?
Let me check. It might just stop if I leave it asleep for too long. Nope, it just stopped for some reason. OBS, go live.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Witch Watch is mine, and this is I know I did Witch Watch kind of recently, but I had to do Witch Watch again because this is their annual chapter where they do a manga within a manga. So this manga exists within Witch Watch. And last year they released this chapter where this lion character just randomly gets, his name's Zach, randomly gets crucified at the end of the chapter. It ends the chapter and nothing more is said of it until this year where they release another chapter. Fuck it, Discord is not working. Just head over to the next one. I'll describe it.
It should be there.
Yeah. So basically, they don't continue from the previous chapter. They assumed that a year's worth of chapters have been released between now and then, and we, the audience, just haven't kept up.
Okay. See, I wasn't sure about that. I wasn't sure if they had done just that was chapter 1, this chapter 2, or if 49 chapters or whatever occurred between the two of them.
Yeah, no, yeah, 49 chapters or something has occurred between them. Zach, the lion guy, is now a robot cyborg, maybe.
Scrooby boop.
And some people can understand him, and some people can, and they just act like he said something really dark or heavy.
So,
you know,
the idea of this, of being brave enough to say it's my 1 year, 2 year anniversary, and instead of doing a big color spread and a big, exciting chapter 100, big events, to just go like, nope, it's a gag manga that's only happens in my mind, and you missed 50 chapters of it, and here's the next part.
Yeah,
it's such a good gag.
And they do the gag where like all of the evil organization is revealed and they're talking about their plans and whatnot, and they have in the top left like a Satanist, maybe I don't know, like a witchcraft man.
Frank Straight. Their names are just great, by the way. This Frank Straight.
I'm sure the rest of them have Japanese puns as names too. That I'm not parsing, but
I would bet they do. Yeah.
Akesuke
Akasu.
Head over to the next one.
Lalaseki.
So this is a deep chapter, and in the next page, the main villain states that the heroes who pull this legendary sword, and our heroes are struggling with it, they can become the strongest if they're able to pull it, but one of their party members will collapse as a trade-off. And I put this page in here just because the lion is so fucking funny with his 2 eye patches. He has like the medical eye patch.
Both of his eyes are covered. I just didn't even notice that the first time I got literally blinded by the eye patches. God.
And here's the big twist at the end of this chapter is they pull the sword through the power of friendship, and Frank Straight collapses and starts beeping. So he is the lion.
It's the lion. Frank Straight is Zach. Okay, that's a good twist. This is I'm not gonna lie. Seeing this actually makes me want to read Witch Watch more than like any Witch Watch chapters we could have gone over. Just because I think the idea of doing this sort of meta chapter, full goo friend, like just the gags inside of it, just seems so funny and such a good idea. And I'm so happy that they let the author and the artist do this, that I just I really want to read Witch Watch now. That might be the next thing on my list.
You should. It's just really fun, and some of the chapters are so creative. These two, if you read these individually, read them with the context of knowing that this is just randomly thrown in there without telling anyone. So you're just reading a shitpost manga for like one chapter, and then nothing is said about it afterwards. And 1 year later, like you read chapter 1, and then 1 year later, chapter 45 of the same manga you haven't read comes out.
Was the original one was actually chapter 1?
No, it was like chapter 20 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, they're infiltrating a lab, and they talk about whether it's a lab or not for like a full page, and then the lion is suddenly crucified, and they're like, "Whoa!" It's stupid as shit. It's a huge shit post, and it's very funny. So shout out to Witch Watch. I'll bring it back next year too.
I mean, yeah, we should plan on chapter 150 or whenever it is in about a year to get another. I'm sure it'll be. I can assume he's just going to skip ahead and write funny stuff again, which makes me more excited than to even know what happens in the next chapter of this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we won't know what happens in this story till next year anyway. So,
for sure.
Yeah, that's mine. It's a huge shit post, and it was hilarious, and I think it was just a Witch Watch is so good, fellas. So go read that. What do you got this week, Bruce?
Speaking of so good, it's Inio Asano's new series, Mujina Into the Deep. I'm going to move my head real quick here because, that's the wrong thing I'm grabbing. Oh, God, I messed it up. Oh, God. We're okay. We know how to work OBS. There we go.
That's a nice color page.
Asano's always had really good art. They also... We'll talk a little bit about it later. Something I wanted to call out on this page, you will notice Mujina, into is two separate words, the deep. I believe that is actually just fucking incorrect if we're calling it out. If you wanted to say that the person thing Mujina was going deeper into, that is one word, into. Into like that is for, for instance, if you were going, that restaurant, we need to go in to buy some groceries. The restaurant, we go in to buy some food, right? We're going in to do blah, blah, blah. That is kind of separated. We are going in. You could even say we are going into to buy some food. But anyways, I wanted to call that out because I think it's weird that they translated it like that. And I want to tweet or send them an email and be like, are you sure this is not supposed to be Mujina into one word, the deep?
Wait, I think I have a theory for why they did that. So you know when you are like in a bank heist and it's going bad, and your fellow heistman says, "Hey boss, I think we're in too deep here." I think they were going for a play on words, but they can't use both of the twos that they want to, so they kind of did a middle thing.
Yeah, I don't. It makes me curious to know the Japanese version of it, because there could be some wordplay here, right? Because there's often wordplay which is lost upon English translation, which I've complained about at the past. This is also noted as an episode 0-1. I don't know if that means this is like arc 0 part 1 or episode 0 and episode 1. I'm not sure. Anyways,
I don't know either. Yeah.
Yes, the art spreads here though are very cool. What Asano has always been. What I have noticed Asano, so the other main series that I've read of his, though not all of it, is Oyasumi Punpun, Goodnight Punpun. That's, I would think, his most famous work that you might know over here in the West. Even in Oyasumi Punpun, he often uses, basically, I don't want to say tracing over pictures. He basically uses digitally converted pictures to manga pages to do a lot of his art, which is what we're looking at here also, right? This is not... my guess is this is not actual stroke art of any kind, right? This isn't someone looking at a picture and painting over it. This is a conversion of a picture into a style using Photoshop filters, After Effects, whatever you want to use, right? Your tool of choice. And I did even see a tweet from the author who showed how he set up some of the fight scenes later on and backgrounds using Unreal Engine 5, which I think is really, really cool. What they would do is they would do a lot of like posing of bodies, and then the artist could draw over the body with the sort of, this is the cool pose I want. Here's the way the sort of body is structured like that, and I can draw over it that way. Also helps keep the body sort of proportions and stuff more, I don't necessarily real, but more connected, right? You're not going to get kind of a squash and stretch stuff if you're using an Unreal Engine, dummy essentially to pose your stuff. But anyways, yeah, Asano's style has always sort of been backgrounds were, I won't say an afterthought, but backgrounds are a thing that he converted from photographs, right? That's, I think, always been true, and it continues to be true, and I think that it looks even better now than it does in Yasumi Punpun. So I like a lot of the background art stuff here. All of that being said about the art and how cool it is, you read this, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, not a lot happens in the first chapter. Some stuff happens. It is really just a teaser, in my opinion. This felt like a trailer of a manga more than it felt like a chapter 1 introducing you to all the characters and the plot and stuff you're going to want to know. We maybe know that this girl's name is Mujina, or is the other girl's name Mujina? I don't remember. Or no, Mujina is a assassin, maybe.
Yeah, it's like
Something
a
like that.
type of Mujina is like, it seems like a type of ninja or assassin or something like that.
Which
yeah.
this girl is. Then we watch her kill this guy and jump over. And I mean, again, like this spread is really cool. But if you look on the left, like you can just tell, like the sign especially and stuff, like that's not hand drawn. Like that's converted from a digital image, which I think is fine. I don't mind this at all, and I think that Asano uses it really well, especially in this chapter. In Poon Poon, I think it's more noticeable and it isn't used quite as stylishly, but this is really cool. Like the angle of this shot and where this picture is taken is just really neat. So, and I think his character art is always great. So, yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I'm gonna keep up with it. I think it's cool and exciting to have a new Inio Asano. The writing that I read in Yasumi Poon Poon, I think I'd read maybe 40 or 50 chapters of that, is really good and really melancholy. And I'm curious how he does with an action-focused manga. It does appear there were a lot of pages that I could not show here because we are streaming on YouTube and the terms of service have been violated. There's clearly sort of
Speaking of stroke art.
seedy underbelly vibes, right? There's some prostitution and drug stuff obviously going on here. Assassinations, killing. It's pretty hyper-violent from what I've seen. So curious to see how his kind of melancholic style plays in with all those kind of different stuff. Yasumi Poon Poon's very just kind of like family and friend and school drama, life, kind of life happens, ups and downs and stuff. This seems much more severe and dramatic. So curious to see how that goes.
I actually liked that it felt like kind of like a prologue trailer thing. Maybe that's what the 0-1 meant, but who knows what it actually means. But I was confused as to why there was so much blowjob.
There was a lot of nudity in the first 10 pages or so.
And I'm no prude. It's like fine, but like this was like it was used on a throwaway character that I didn't expect to just show up and die like that.
Yeah.
It was strange.
I mean, it's a little bit of scene setting, tones. I think we're going to look back and see the tone of the manga's probably set pretty solidly here, which is why I was mentioning sort of this clearly is going to be seedy underbelly vibes, like bad stuff happening to people, through crime and sex and drugs and stuff like that. That's kind of the feeling I am getting from this first chapter. So, I think we're going to get more of that to come. I would not. I don't think that's sort of a chapter 1 ecchi hook. I think that's probably going to continue through the series.
I wonder if this is more so about this is going to be about what the author perceives to be sexual deviancy in some way, because it had like two like seedy sex things, right, going on at the same time, and that was the only two kind of plot things that happened outside of all the action. But who knows, right? It's too early to tell. But
and there's a little bit of an implication with the girl who comes in on the train being like a rent-a-girlfriend type thing, or the next it could be prostitution. Yeah, kind of hard to tell. It was a little bit implied that the guy that she met, I think at the train station, was somehow paying something for her, or advising her, expecting something in return. It's all sort of very lightly implied, but you could.
I thought this was just a young girl getting taken advantage of, but you're right. I think it is a rent-a-girlfriend thing. Because
could be
she was uncomfortable. She was uncomfortable by the guy, and I don't think she would be surprised if she was a prostitute. But right. Yeah, so I think you're right. Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, it also appears to just kind of be modern Japan or near modern Japan. They have some kind of like boost shoes. The Mujina girl does, at least, and I think one of the other guys did. I will say I didn't love the action paneling in this, just because I have like made a video and researched that a lot, I really notice it when I read now. Action paneling here felt a little disjointed, but the art is still awesome, and I really think that it's going to be more about the characters and the sort of drama here. So yeah, very curious to continue this one for sure.
Yeah, likewise.
And I believe I think this is monthly. This might be our weekly or monthly, bi-weekly. Who knows?
I would have to guess monthly.
By the time we hit April 15th, we should have another chapter, at least one, maybe 4. Who knows?
This Gantz-esque realistic art takes a while to do, so I assume it's going to be like bi-weekly or monthly.
Gantz is the same. Gantz is the same thing. Gantz backgrounds also often just converted pictures in like you essentially change them, swap them black and white in a video changing thing, desaturate them to where they look like, or change the line style or something to where they look like it looks like manga drawing, and it's not. I mean, I've seen Fujimoto use this.
I've seen Murata use this.
Yeah, I've seen Murata use this occasionally.
Yeah, usually he just goes ham, like a legend,
and he'll often do more like tracing of real photos to kind of convert stuff. But yeah, Murata used this. I'm trying to remember where I remember seeing this. I think when the comet falls, some of the buildings in the city there, I think,
that is the only time I remember it, and I'm so glad you said that, because that was the only time I noticed it, and that was the only mid-page of One Punch Man I have seen art-wise.
Yeah.
Because it was noticeable. It took me out a little bit. It wasn't a big deal at all, but like, for someone who does 10 out of 10s on every page, it was
let me see if I can find. I mean, I think some of the panels, like if I can get this up here. I think some of the panels like this are like, I do not think that Murata drew the earth underneath there, right? If he did, it was some kind of trace or conversion job. Now, I do think he drew the clouds clearly look different, so I think all the clouds are all drawn or mostly drawn in, but I do think that the sort of part underneath, or this could even be like, again, Asano talked about using Unreal Engine 5. This could just be like a, converted picture of like a 3D modeled earth, because the oceans are very flat, but who knows? But yeah, that's definitely stuff like that has been going on for, I'm trying to think, I mean, at least 25 years, I would say. Gantz, I think, started late 90s. Monster is the other one that I noticed used a lot. If you look at a lot of the panels in Monster, you'll notice that what's his name does not like drawing backgrounds. I'm forgetting, even though he wrote the greatest thing I've ever read. Urasawa, yeah.
Urasawa, yeah. And I've read like a decent amount of like manhwa, Korean comics.
They also use it a lot. Although they do like a color conversion brightening thing.
They literally reuse the same picture of a castle over and over again.
I have seen this, yes.
Yeah, I think
the same fantasy castle in every isekai, yep.
Yeah. It's like the same architect, the exact same castle over and over, and the same food. They use the same food.
And that is, I believe, a like free or cheap asset on some store. I think it's maybe a free asset that you, again, can just plop into something like Unreal Engine or like After Effects and just get an angle on it and convert it. And yeah, these things are all, in my opinion, these things are cool tools to use. We're not going to talk about AI in this episode. We might talk about AI eventually. We kind of talked about it offline a little bit, but there are some interesting implications for cool things that artists could use AI to do.
And you know what?
But their intellectual property belongs to them, and you can't feed it. Anyways, yeah.
Until we talk about it, let's leave it at that, because I think this just turns into a long discussion about it.
It turns into a very long discussion, and we won't get into it. But yeah. So speaking of long discussions, One Piece. We did.
Wait, hold on. We're not at One Piece yet. We have to briefly mention Beat in Motion.
Oh yeah, I'll talk about Beat in Motion Chapter 2 drop. Did you read Chapter 2?
I have. Yeah, I read it before.
Okay. This is the winner. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, I guess. This was the winner of that televised competition. It's not bad. It's just okay, in my opinion. Chapter 2 is kind of the same for me, although it was a little bit less scattered than Chapter 1, a little more focused, I thought. Yeah, what'd you think about Chapter 2?
Pacing issues. That's the biggest problem I had with it. I thought chapter 2 was stronger than chapter 1, and I actually liked a lot of it when it was working, but
Yeah.
I feel like it went way too fast. They cut out the segment of Nico and the main guy.
Yeah, there was a like montage part where I was like, "Why would you cut this? We should be reading this." Like,
this is the important part. This is
Yeah.
important because their relationship grows to such an extent where he's like, "I like myself more, and I like talking to you," and it's like we didn't see any. You just skipped all of that, right? Like,
right, yeah.
So we don't know what clicked. I thought that when they were talking and when it wasn't riddled with pacing issues, I thought the dialogue worked. I thought the characters were interesting.
Mhm.
I liked their motivations. I like the manga. It's just a mess a little bit.
It has promise. I mean, the biggest thing I can say about it, which I don't think is like really an insult, is that it feels kind of amateur. Which it is this guy's first try at a manga, and I like for a first try, it's pretty good. It's just kind of clear that it's like, I mean, so from what I understand, I believe the first, I think it's 6 chapters were created during the sort of reality TV section. So my guess is that potentially after the first 6 chapters, when it's into a more serialized format where you aren't writing to move the story really fast to win people over to get people into your characters, there might be a change there. So I'm willing to stick around for 8 or 10 chapters and see where it goes. Or if it's short, this might only be a 15, 30 chapter thing. Who knows? Yeah, but it's not great. It's good. It's okay. I don't hate it. It's not bad. It's just, a little unsteady, a little uneven. You're definitely right that the big issue is that it's like, oh, you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to get to see these people grow closer and stuff. And then it just kind of like montages through all of it in 2 pages. And then they're really close all of a sudden. It's like, that's kind of why I'm here. Like, I'm kind of here for that, to be honest.
It is insane to skip the character development part.
Yep.
Or the plot part when it's about characters.
Wow,
it's just
Jujutsu
nuts to me.
Kaisen, looking at you, call it out.
Well, see, at least that has action, right? Like this is specifically a character piece, and it skips character. That's just baffling.
It is sort of a very cardinal sin of like, if it's a story about characters, don't skip the character stuff. Yeah.
And I am literally only going this hard on it because I think it's good. Outside of that, I think it.
Yeah, it definitely has promise. I think the author is starting at a higher level than a lot of authors and artists start at. And the art is fine. It probably definitely deserved to win that series. And again, like I said, I believe that the first 6 chapters were created during that series. So I wonder where it goes after that, or I wonder where it if it pivots, and since he has more time and he knows that he has won the contest and is serialized, if we get a little bit of a change there. My guess is that these first 2 chapters are maybe very slight reworks of the original things you created for the live action. So if you're trying to sell people, and move quick, I can understand doing a montage for some character stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and perfect. And my brief mention, I just wanted to call out as well. I read the first 3 chapters. It's on the front of our manga. It's just a few words. It's about a couple trying to fix their broken marriage through communication.
I think I only maybe read the first 2 chapters, but this is the one where he like compliments her makeup and she like dresses up the next day and cooks for him. Is that the one?
It's exactly. That is the one. And I really like it. It's just like small communication things, trying, just putting yourself out there. And I don't think there are a lot of manga about broken marriages, which I think is
that don't involve NTR or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, where you don't have to scour the internet for it,
Right. Yeah.
But no, I thought it was good. It's nothing super deep or anything, but it's a fun read, so check it out.
It's short, but yeah, it's very much like our marriage is falling apart, and the guy's like, I'm gonna compliment her, and he compliments her, and then she like dresses up and cooks for him the next day, and he like buys her flowers. And it's kind of just like it feels like rolling a snowball down a hill of like, oh, these people are gonna save their marriage. Like this one does not feel like it's going to end sad. It's gonna end happy. They're gonna be fine. So
yeah, it would be complete bullshit if it ended sad.
Yeah, at this point for sure. Yeah, so that's just a few words. So on the opposite, speaking of just a few words, on the opposite end of that scale, there are many words to say about One Piece.
Yeah, we never really talk about One Piece ever, so I think
we mention it, and we both read it every single week. we had to make a promise. We had to make a promise that we would not talk about it too much because we could talk about this 3 times a month, just about, on the podcast. So
effectively, yeah. Yeah. So why don't you start her up? What are your thoughts on the chapter?
I like this chapter. We are probably right about to get a big reveal at the end, but there was lots of cool. I mean, again, this whole Egghead arc has been great because we're getting so many payoffs and so many storylines getting tied together in the background that we've been sort of waiting for. Not necessarily waiting for something to happen, but they've been kind of loose ends and they're getting tied up. So Ohara is coming back on this first page with sort of the ancient world, ancient knowledge, all this stuff. That's also tied into the Pawpaw guy, the Void Century, potentially at the end of the chapter who the traitor is, maybe, although I don't think it is. But yeah, I mean, and we get who is it? Kaku and who's the other guy? The CP0.
Leopard guy.
Yeah, those 2 guys get freed and they fight with the Straw Hats, and there's funny goofs like down here where talking about how King's name is Albert and he was a Lunarian. We learned this in Wano, right? We learned that he's Lunarian. He was locked up and he got freed by Kaido, joined his club gang and all that jazz. Turns out his blood is what runs through the Seraphim, who are these little recreations of the Yonko. Yonko, yeah. Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just like tying stuff together. It's like, oh, Wano felt like the last time we were really getting kind of some new mysteries introduced, and I think one of those was King and his backstory. And it's kind of already tied up. Like King was captured by the world government to do these tests, and it produced these Seraphim things, which we are seeing now come to fruition, fight. They're very strong. Yeah, I mean, we're just, it's so exciting because I'll use the same metaphor again because it's a good one. It feels like the snowball is finally rolling down the hill for One Piece. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely. Yeah. One Piece has asked a million questions, which would be frustrating from a world building perspective if it didn't answer them as they went, but there's still so many lingering. And now we're just getting plot ends and secrets all tied up, and it's been really great. And they've been doing it at a mile a minute. Unlike the issue I had with Boku no Hero Academia, I feel like it's been like every loose end has been consistently brought up and talked about and hinted at enough to where wrapping it up or doing a lore drop feels really good. You know, it feels earned every single time. And
he also knows, Oda's smart enough to know that, like, hey, the last time we actually met, I'll go back to the last page, the last time they actually mentioned Ohara was in Robin's flashback, which is in chapter like 350 or something, right? Like maybe that's chapter 400, like around there. But like it's been 700, like 6, 7, maybe 800 chapters since we've talked about Ohara. Now it's probably mentioned off and on. You know, I think Robin's called like the child of Ohara or like the last survivor of Ohara or something.
Devil's Child or something like that.
Devil Child. Yeah, but we haven't really seen or heard the story of it in that long. And some people are really into it like we are, and we kind of discuss these things. And a lot of people are into it even more than we are. I mean, there's whole channels that have million subscribers or more just talking about One Piece on YouTube. So, you know, those people, you know, they know Ohara is important. They know it's good. If you're just a casual reader, you might go, oh, I'd forgotten about that. Because it was, you know, 18 years ago, 700 chapters, whatever you want to say.
And I was going to ask you to go back too, because that's I wanted to bring up something on this page. It's I love the honesty in the top right corner. Yeah, here's a refresher.
Yeah, well, and this is what I'm talking about. Why Oda is such a smart author, and he does this. He does this in lots of different ways. But like, yeah, he's like, hey, it's been 700 chapters. I need to give my readers a refresher on this. He does it, something that I really like to call out as a really good thing he does in the middle of all his big action chapters. All these people in these different locations, he's for the past, I mean, at least since the time skip, and he definitely did it on on the boat, the horror boat place. And he did it in his lobby. Is he'll put a little map up and be like, hey, here's where all the characters are. Just to remind you, like, hey, these are the people in play. These are what they're doing. And he does it just like this, a little corner insert, a little arrows to what they're doing. Because, yeah, you might have forgotten, like, oh, yeah, it has technically been, I don't know, 2 months since we've seen Zoro, but okay, Zoro is on the 3rd floor of the Skull Dome, and he's fighting Queen or whatever, right? So
I think it's just a respect for the viewers' time, because like these come out weeks apart, and there's 7, but probably actually more than 10 characters to track every arc. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the mini maps are great.
You're essentially dealing with what are there, 8 Straw Hats now? No, there 9 Straw Hats now?
8?
I think there's 8. There would have been 9 if somebody had joined at Wano. I remember.
Carrot, we were thinking Carrot might join or something.
Carrot or Yamato, yeah. But because I remember thinking Yamato, 9 feels like a good number for crew. But anyways, yeah, you've definitely got 8 Straw Hats. You have all of whoever their opponents are. There's almost always a guest princess character, and then 2 or 3 other kind of other characters. I mean, in Wano, we had there was the Mochi Cheek girl is like a pretty main character. The princess was another character. Yamato was another character. So yeah, I mean, you're looking at least 15. Looking at probably 12, 12 to 15 characters, and then their opponents who they are fighting. So 30 characters at any one time. But
like all the scabbards, Marco,
right, all the red scabbards. Yeah, Law. Yeah.
Freaking everyone was there, dude. Yeah.
I mean, Wano was the biggest one we've gotten, so there's probably more like 20 or 25 characters. But again, the thing that Oda knows is that he knows there's a lot of characters. He knows you're going to lose track. You know that his readers need a refresher. Maybe he needs a refresher. Maybe he's drawing it for himself. He's like, wait, where's everybody? Draw a map for myself. Put it in the manga. Who knows?
He said he uses the wiki to remember devil fruits he made sometimes.
He definitely said that like 10 years ago or something. Was like, oh, I'd forgotten what devil fruits did, and so I used the wiki. But this is tying stuff together. It's great. And then at the end we get Shaka, right? This is Shaka, I believe.
I'm a little bit behind you, but
I believe this is. Oh yeah, this is Shaka getting shot, right? And we hear
he gets freaking domed, bro.
Yeah, just literally domed. Which this is pretty violent. This is like there's violence in One Piece. Is this like this feels visceral and violent to me in a way that feels kind of un-One Piece. Like a guy just getting shot in the head and like there's blood flying out of his head. He's kind of a robot, so like whatever. But it's probably oil.
It felt that way for me too, because I think it's how the blood is drawn. It felt more gritty, you know.
It definitely, I mean, it definitely could be oil because I'm pretty sure Shaka's a robot, but they might be. I don't know.
They all have his brain inside of him, don't they? That's why he has an apple. Yeah, he replaces his brain with an apple core instead of the huge head he used to have. So I think that's like brain matter splattered.
Yeah, potentially. But it definitely felt non-One Piece violence, right? Like a dude getting, like you said, like domed in the head with a gun and he's falling back. Like that feels like non-One Piece violence is, you get punched a lot. No, like, or your arm gets cut off, and people's arms don't even really get cut off all that often. Like chapter 1, when did it happen since then? But
really, the only violent thing I can remember is Ace's death. Because he got
but even Ace's death is like there wasn't like a huge like splattering of blood, right? It's kind of just like fire, right? Like fire comes out, and stuff like that. But
and I should mention, I read in like the Reddit comments, the katak 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 sound is the same sound used for the
right?
Im, the pointy hat person. And I don't know if that's just a sound effect that's commonly used or if there's a connection there.
I believe, yeah. So I believe katak, that's the sound of heels on a hard floor. I want to say that I saw, like, maybe under that same comment, something where people were saying that it had been used occasionally before, but not often, but some other manga have used it. It is definitely most recently used for Im, or just someone stepping down the stairs, right, is obviously what we're looking at down there in that bottom middle panel. But
yeah, and it makes sense. He got shot from an elevated area, so yeah, it could just be someone walking down the stairs.
Right. I mean, we'll know. If we're leading early leaks, we'll know maybe late tonight, if not tomorrow sometime. But yeah, I'm interested to see who do you think who shot Shaka? Let's play the game. Let's do. I like prediction games. We've done a couple throughout our 6 months here. So what's?
Are you deliberately trying not to say Among Us? Were you trying to say the imposter is sus, and you need me to find out who it is? Okay,
Speaking
you got
of
it.
Dated memes. No. What?
Sorry, Oda. Blame Oda for the dated memes. Huh? That he clearly is on an Among Us binge.
Do you do you think Oda played Among Us like during COVID, and that's why he was like, I got to put this into One Piece?
I think probably, or he's heard of Among Us.
Yeah,
I don't think that's why he put it into One Piece. But if you're asking me if Oda has played it, I'd say yes.
I'm
I
going
think
to
yes.
tweet at and ask, has Oda Sensei played Among Us?
Tweet at his editor.
I don't know who his editor is now. He changed recently. He swaps every year or whatever. So
yeah, I guess that makes sense.
yeah, because you don't need to edit him, and it's just as like practice for like how One Piece is made. I think is what I've heard.
That totally makes sense. He is he is an undisputed pro at this point. So
yeah, he knows what he's doing without him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, who do you think shot Shaka?
If it's not him, I don't think it's anyone on the world government side.
Okay.
And it's because CP0 is there on a secret mission to assassinate people, and they would know about it.
Right.
And I don't. It's definitely not anyone on the Straw Hat or Straw Hat ally side. So I'm guessing it has to, maybe like a rogue rebel person from Dragon side, maybe.
You're getting close to what I'm gonna guess. I think
someone Bonnie knows. Maybe someone who's trying to avenge Kuma.
Now,
like
yeah,
Bonnie.
I was going to say. Now, it could be Bonnie because we haven't seen her in a chapter or two after she got a flashback from her dad from Kuma, right? Isn't that the last time we saw her in that science room?
Yeah, her and I don't know why I'm forgetting the scientist, the Einstein guy.
Vegapunk.
Vegapunk. Her and Vegapunk were in that room, and there was Kuma's big hand bubble full of memories, and she absorbed it.
But also, is that Vegapunk or is this Vegapunk? Because this Vegapunk is was trapped down here, right? We saw him like in a containment cell or something. So there's maybe two versions. I have a couple of guesses here. One is that the Vegapunk that was with Bonnie did this, right? And he's a bad robot or a bad copy or the evil version of Vegapunk or something like that. That's my guess. Or are you ready for who it really is?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's Caesar. Because isn't he on the Straw Hats boat still? I'm pretty sure he is. We saw him when they left Zoro on the boat at the very start of the arc. I'm pretty sure Caesar is still on the boat.
That is actually a good call, and I don't think it's him.
I don't think it's him, but it would be really funny if Caesar just fucking domed Vegapunk or Shaka in this picture with a gun when he has swamp powers or whatever it is.
He has gas powers. He's OP as fuck.
That's right, gas powers, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, Caesar's not on the boat. Caesar is... It's not Caesar. It can't be him. Because Caesar, in conjunction, is with Germa right now in the cover stories. That's what they're doing.
Are those current cover stories?
Yeah, that's what... The cover stories are all happening as a aside when whatever currently is happening. And the guy who's on the boat is the mud guy, who's different.
Oh, yeah, it's not Caesar. Okay, who is that then?
Caribou's the mud guy. But that's a good theory. Caesar hates Vegapunk, right?
Yeah, I mean... And haven't the cover stories been about the Germa dad guy and them like all hating Vegapunk kind of?
They all hate Vegapunk, but this is happening currently because their side story was happening while Big Mom was in Wano, and
okay.
Germa was in Whole Cake Island with Caesar fucking shit up. But yeah, the reason I thought it couldn't be Caesar was not because of this. I just put this together, but the reason I think it can't be Caesar is this, and I think he's a goofy character now. He's like a Buggy-esque figure, you know.
Well, and that's why I think it's even better if he showed up and just shot a guy in the head in an incredibly violent One Piece panel.
I think people would just be pissed off because it's like, whoa, this is getting tense. Who is the imposter? And it's like, it's me, Caesar the Clown.
I don't know, man. That sounds classic One Piece to me. Like,
it sounds funny.
Thinking that something's going to be really serious and there's going to be a traitor and just being like, no, it was me, the clown, the whole time.
So many clowns in this series.
There's a lot of different types of clowns.
You just put this together in my brain for me. I am surprised. And they're all fucking great. They're all really funny, unintentionally funny characters.
Yeah, there's like at least 5. I think I can think of 3 immediately, and there's maybe 4 clowns just like instantly in One Piece.
Wait, hold on. Let me try. Buggy and Caesar, easy.
Okay, yeah, Buggy, Caesar, Mr. Is it Mr. 2 or Mr. 1 that's the wax powered guy?
Oh, the Candleman. I don't think he's a clown. I think he's just a weirdo.
He's a clown. I'm going to pull up a picture of him. You're going to tell me he's not a clown? Hold on.
This man is not a clown, my friend. But he acts like one.
Hold on. He's like absolutely a clown. Hold on. His name is Galdino. Hold on. You're going to tell me, I'm going to show you this man. You're going to say, no, that man is not a clown. I have to find a picture of his whole setup because his whole setup is like goofy as hell. All right, fine, that's good enough.
Let us know in the comments. And
is Galdino a clown? I think this counts as a clown in One Piece. If we're being, I think it counts as a clown.
You know, I'm so staunchly on the side that he's not a clown. I want to say no.
Look at him. It's Mr. 3.
I want to say no, but I'm going to give it to you.
He's got a red bow tie. He's got a blue and white pinstripe. He's got yellow pants. He's wearing platform shoes.
It is insane how much he is dressed like a clown right now. I want to say you're wrong, but like the evidence is proving me wrong here. Why is he dressed like a clown?
He's literally just like a clown. Yeah, I'm just going to...
That's insane. Okay. I did not remember
clowns in One Piece and see how many. Okay, yeah.
Well, you're not going to find it there, but your argument worked. I agree. 3 clowns.
Yeah, I guess just 3, but that's.
I'm on your side now. That he is dressed like a clown. He must be a clown if the shoe fits.
So who this really is that shot is probably one of the other robots. I don't know which one. It could be any. It could be literally any of them. I would say. It's just going to be one of them, and it's going to be I was your evil the whole time, or I was created first, or something like that. I don't know, but my guess is that it's just one of the other robots that we know. Maybe the first girl they meet, who's like seems really angry and violent.
The first girl they meet.
The first Vegapunk they meet. I can't remember her name.
Oh, right, Lilith.
Lilith, yeah, Lilith, yeah.
Lilith is with Usopp, no? Yeah, Lilith is with Usopp. But that's a good theory. It could be one of the robots.
My guess is one of the robots. I mean, it could be M. If M shows up here, that's big shit right there. That's like, because I'm pretty sure that's like final boss dude. Like he nuked an island like 50 chapters ago. So
right, he nuked Sabo.
Yes, I guess we still don't know if he's. I mean, surely he's alive. Characters don't die off screen in One Piece, so.
Yeah, that would be insane if Oda's just like, oh, he's dead. You saw him get nuked. No, he's alive. But yeah, I don't know who it is. I think you're probably closest with it. If it's not him, I think you're probably closest with it being one of the bots.
Yeah,
because they gave him all like names like, this is my lust. This is my wrath. This is my, it's like they give him. Yeah,
and it's like, well, one of those will be like the liar one or the wrath one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows how? I mean, the other thing I was going to bring up is that, so we see this Vegapunk that's like locked in the basement, but then there was a Vegapunk that was with Bonnie. My guess is the Vegapunk with Bonnie is like not the real Vegapunk, and maybe that's who shoots Shaka because he found the real Vegapunk. That's kind of my other like wild maybe theory. I don't know.
The only issue I have with that theory is because I think the Vegapunk that the Straw Hats and Bonnie initially met is real. He's too goofy, and he was like lost.
It makes you want to believe.
He was also like lost in rubble, right? Like that's true. I don't know what it's like. But I could definitely see that being a thing as well. I'm just unsure as to what happened to Bonnie in this whole thing. Maybe it's her.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, it very well could be Bonnie and may have seen something in that flashback that was like, I now need to kill Vegapunk. I wanted to kill Vegapunk, and I now need to kill Vegapunk.
Yeah.
She has guns, right? Bonnie does? I'm pretty sure she's a gunslinger.
I think she does, but I don't fully recall her fighting really much ever. So
I don't. We saw her like get captured, and that's like all that she's really done in the last 500, 600 chapters.
Yeah, she like saved Zoro from killing the celestial dragon when she was first introduced, and then she got captured by Blackbeard.
Captured by Blackbeard, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I glanced at some quick pictures. I don't see her with guns, but I think that's unlikely. I think the most likely thing is this is this is one of the robots, or like maybe one of the Seraphim, but I think all the Seraphim are occupied. I don't know.
I was speaking of which, I was surprised that the Boa Hancock Seraphim could talk and have like logical thought. I thought they were all just
She
kind
was
of
like,
like,
"Don't hurt me, I'm cute," or whatever she said. Yeah.
I thought they were all bots, you know. Like
I was kind of thinking the same. I was like, "Oh, clearly these things like can't talk. They're sort of like expressionless, like drone robots." And I was like, "Oh no, I guess not." Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder. What part do you think the Seraphim play in the story? Do you think they play a part in the story past Egghead, or do you think they're the bad guys on Egghead and they'll stay on Egghead when they leave? Because they seem incredibly powerful, right? I mean, they're like giving
Mhm.
like Luffy and the Straw Hats like a run for their money, and Luffy and the Straw Hats are pretty strong. So
Yeah. I think they were like just below the Straw Hats and in terms of power, right? And that's
so the
crazy.
same. So in power scaling terms, you're saying they're just as strong as Kaido and his crew.
I don't.
We're not doing this. We're not
No,
going
no,
there.
don't
We're not
don't
doing
pull
it.
me. Don't pull me into
We're
this.
not power
man.
scaling. We're not power scaling.
So I think the ones in Egghead are going to be, this is a haymaker of a guess, but I think the ones in Egghead are going to be written out in Egghead, maybe destroyed or something. But there are warlords missing. There's like Crocodile. We haven't seen his bot.
Yeah.
There's like Blackbeard, who was one. There's Law. We haven't seen any of their bots. You know,
Well, doesn't no. So, but isn't it it's the old warlords though, right? Because
yeah,
because they Mihawk and the girl and what's her name, they
Hancock, yeah.
and Hancock aren't warlords in the new world because they're replaced by Law and a bunch of other people, right? Isn't that how it works?
That not quite. So they were still warlords. Law joined later, but they all got fired because they have these things now.
Right.
So they're
because Jinbei I thought wasn't. Yeah. Okay.
was.
Jinbei resigned as a warlord, and then the current ones are okay. Yeah, Mihawk, Kuma, Hancock, Buggy, Edward Weevil, who I forgot about. Crocodile, Gecko Moria, Law, and Don Quixote del Flamingo, who actually I guess isn't anymore because he got captured. But
none of them are anymore, really.
That's true because they like dissolved. I guess members before. The wiki says members before dissolution. So.
Speaking of Whitebeard's kid,
didn't he show up like last chapter?
It was like 5 chapters ago or something.
Yeah, or it was recent. It was like it was very
recent. Yeah. He showed up to defend Whitebeard's hometown.
Yes, that's right.
And then the Marines captured him, and Marco's like, "Oh, dang!" And his mom's like, "You let this happen, you fucking asshole!" And that's where we're at.
God, I need to. That's important that it happened, but why?
It's important to
know. How
long
will it be until Edward Weevil is important again?
Well, I think nobody thought that he was legitimately Whitebeard's kid. Right. I still don't think that, but I don't think they're frauds or fraudsters as much anymore because they intentionally went out of their way to risk their life to like save Whitebeard's hometown. So there's something there. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I feel the same way. As like I know that there's a meaning to him appearing in the series again after like 500, 600, 700 chapters. I don't remember the last. Maybe was he New World that he showed up in? I don't remember now. He might have been starting New World.
It was post time skip, yeah.
Post time skip. Okay, so 400, 500 chapters, but yeah, still lots of questions. Even though we are tying up a lot of them, there's still some left. Also, do you think? I think maybe we talked about this not on the podcast but before. Do you think that we're going to meet the Giants after Egghead? Do the Straw Hats go to the Island of Giants, whose name is eluding me right now?
Elbaf.
The Elbaf, yes. Do the Straw Hats go to Elbaf after Egghead?
No, I don't think so. And if they do, I think it's not going to be an arc.
Right.
Mainly because I don't know, and this is going to sound weird, so let me know if you agree or not. I don't know if you can make an arc with all giants as the side characters and keep up with the stakes, right? Like, would Luffy fighting a giant be I know Kaido is like kind of a giant, but like would all of them just fighting giant enemies be and saving giants be as interesting as and relatable as like an arc without giants? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that crazy to talk like?
No, I mean my guess. I think they are going. My guess is it'll be sort of a Zoe like arc, right? Like they only fought like what one or two guys, like little guys in Zoe that were there, and then most of it was like talking and getting the poneglyph and all that jazz. Because I think they still need one more poneglyph, don't they? And the prevailing theory, I believe, is that it's in Elbaf somewhere. That's why Shanks is there. Remember,
Right.
two or three chapters ago, I think just 2 chapters ago, it showed Shanks in Elbaf. And before we saw him there, the last thing he said was like, well, let's go. I think he said like, let's go get the last poneglyph, or let's go get the poneglyph, or let's go get the map, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was clearly indicating like, okay, let's go after the One Piece, let's get the map pieces, and then the next time we see him, he's in Elbaf. That, to me, seems to guide me to say that, okay, the last poneglyph is in Elbaf. I think they're going next. I think it'll be a short. It'll be 1 year probably. They're there, 40 chapters or so.
You know what? I think I'm coming around to your point, because I even have the name Elbaf in my freaking head. Why would they bring it up so much, and why would I remember it? Like, it's relevant enough that I remember.
Right.
It.
I mean, they're also bringing up the O'Hara stuff, which has what's his name, Sean Paul, not Sean Paul.
Not Sean Paul.
Not Sean Paul. What is the name of the giant from O'Hara? You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the guy with the D in his name that likes
Sean
Robin's,
Sean
like,
D. Paul.
Sean D. Paul.
Sean D. Paul.
Yeah.
Jaguar D. Saul. Okay, I was close. I was fucking close.
What was it? Say it again.
Jaguar D. Saul.
That was not close.
Sean D. Paul. Jaguar D. Saul. That's a rhyme. I mean, if I've ever heard it.
You were close on the last name. The first name I don't fault you for, though, because Jaguar is an insane first name. I think I'm on your side. I think they will go to Elbaf now, because it would be a Chekhov's gun if they didn't.
I was about to say, I also think it's been kind of, it has been sitting on the mantle for it's mentioned, I think, in Usopp's introduction. So it's been on the mantle for like literally 1,000 chapters.
And it's kind of important to Usopp's arc, because he respected the giants in Little Garden so much. They were fighting. You remember that?
Yeah, see, I also, I will say, the fans seem to be eating up this whole, Usopp has to get to Elbaf because Usopp's going to have this big character growth, character discovery thing in Elbaf. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're done. Straw Hats have, with the exception of Sanji, we are barely getting... The Straw Hats have not been developed past their introduction very much at all. There's like a little bit of stuff here and there, but Sanji got a big arc. I mean, maybe Usopp gets a big arc. I don't know.
I don't think so, but I don't think he really needs to go to Elbaf to get his arc, because his goal, when they were all saying their goals, when they were going for the Grand Line, was Usopp wanted to be a great warrior like the Giants of Elbaf. But he just wants to be a great warrior. And in his eyes, he doesn't back down from a fight when it really matters. You know, like he is like a good dude just by being with the Straw Hats. He's already achieving his goals. So I think he doesn't have he has a more esoteric goal, which the last piece that's sort of missing for Usopp is to encounter someone stronger than him and then not run away from the fight and fight him and win, right? Like that's kind of like the one piece that's One Piece. That's the part of his arc that's missing, right? Because in Wano he still ran away. He did some fighting, but he was still like running away and fighting essentially. But so I think literally the One Piece. God, I keep saying it. The one part that is missing from Usopp's full character arc, in my opinion, is encountering an enemy who is stronger than him, not running away and fighting, and assumedly overcoming that. Really staring him down or accepting the fight and not running away is the real character thing. But in the way that One Piece and Shonen works, he will win that fight, assumedly. So, and that might happen on Elbaf. That could happen on Elbaf, and that would be cool. But we'll see. People need to stop giving Usopp shit. He's a ranged character. He needs to kite. You know, you play World of Warcraft. You need to kite mobs, and that's what he does.
He is a hunter ranger if I have ever seen one.
He actually is. Wow. He truly is.
It could also be, if we're talking D&D classes, there's one D&D class that like makes potions, like Arcanist or something. I don't remember what it's called. Could be one of those. But anyways, yeah.
I think you're right on the money. He has an alchemy profession, but he's like a ranger. Yeah. All in all, do you feel like this series is wrapping up?
I mean, wrapping up feels like too severe of a word to ever use for One Piece. I do think we are on the downslide.
Yeah.
Yes. To me, it kind of feels like I don't think both sides of the hill are the same height. I do think Wano was sort of the I don't want to say the climax of the story or the as far as the momentum of One Piece is concerned. Wano is the top of the mountain, right? As in, you're building mysteries, you're going up the hill, you're setting things up, you're introducing people, and then Wano is sort of like, okay, here's kind of the last of everyone that you need to know, and a little bit of Vegapunk after that, right? So sort of, I think Wano into Egghead is sort of like, okay, you've met all the characters, you know what's going on, you kind of have essentially all the pieces except for maybe one or two. And so everything after Wano is downhill, in my opinion. So I do think that downhill in the story momentum way, not in the story quality way.
Yeah.
I do think that we will get a little bit of Elbaf. There will still be some new characters introduced when we go certain places. But, I mean, even in Egghead, right? How many new characters have we met in Egghead that aren't Vegapunk? I don't think it's any. I think all the new characters are Vegapunk. There's the one guy... in that first panel. Yeah, this guy in the bottom left, who I don't remember who this is, who commands the Seraphim. I don't remember this character's name.
Oh, Sentomaru, yeah.
Sentomaru, yes. I think they're new to this arc, right? Or no?
No. He's the guy who first had the pacifistas before the pacifistas were part of the government thing. He showed up and split up the Straw Hats before the time skip. And then they meet again after the time skip, and then the Straw Hats body his pacifistas. But by then he had officially joined the Marines. Yeah, so
gotcha. So not a new character is what we're getting.
Exactly.
And again, so I mean, and we get the two CP0 guys who were from CP9, right? Originally, those are not new characters. None of the all of the side things, we're seeing Shanks and his crew, which are not new characters. We're seeing Blackbeard. We're seeing Hancock.
That's a good point. Yeah.
They are not really, I mean, Vegapunk is the only new character here. I would assume we probably, if we go to Elbaf, we'll meet one or two new important people. I think we'll probably meet Jaguar D Sol, because isn't he alive, we think, maybe?
He didn't die on screen, but it's heavily implied he died, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember on that one. But I assume we'll meet, there'll be a couple of people. But I mean, I think when we get to the sort of final climax stuff, we've met Im, who most people assume is kind of the final bad guy, along with Blackbeard in some capacity. I mean, they aren't, and again, in Egghead in general, other than the Vegapunks, I don't think that there's been any new characters. So, and I think that's going to be true. I think we're going to go to Elbaf or somewhere else, and there'll be, one or two local characters that we'll meet, and everybody else will be old characters returning to do their thing. Whereas, contrasting that with Wano, in Wano we meet a lot of new characters, right? We meet Yamato, we meet all the other Red Scabbards. Those are truly new characters who are kind of main and forefront. So I think I think because Oda's a smart, talented, experienced writer. He just knows, like, okay, you can't introduce too many new characters, and the story's not in a place for it. I mean, even inside the arcs, Oda's really good at setting up, essentially introducing all the players in the first third to half, and then resolving all their stuff in the second half, right? I think every single arc I've ever read introduces all the characters in the first half and resolves their stuff in the second half. So we're kind of in the quote-unquote second half, in the downhill motion of the snowball. It really feels like that to me for a lot of different reasons. Character introductions is just the big one that I can think of right now.
And I think most everyone understood your Stoneball analogy, but just to clarify, he means uphill and downhill by like questions asked versus now we're just answering questions, meaning the downhill.
Yeah, story momentum in general.
In terms of story momentum, we have climaxes still coming up. Like I'm sure Raftel will be One Piece's like narrative climax, but
Maybe. I think the narrative climax happens at Mary Joy, but we'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
It could be the same place. We don't know what Raftel is.
I think most people got you. Just wanted to clarify in case one or two didn't understand. But yeah, that's about all I got on One Piece. I think that was a good talk.
So. Yeah, good to cover it again. Last time we talked about it was when the film Red came out, so yeah, we'll talk about it again in a couple months, maybe end of Egghead, I would guess. I think Egghead will be over in 3 or 4 months, so maybe we'll chat about it there. So,
fellas, I gotta let you know, I can talk about One Piece infinitely. I feel like if me and Bruce wanted to deep dive into One Piece, we could go for.
We could have kept this is literally only the tangents we could get from like a single chapter of Egghead, which is again kind of limited on characters. We still went into how many clouds are in One Piece. Apparently, it's only 3. So
true.
Cool. Yeah, I'm good on One Piece. So what else have you been doing? What is your one more thing here?
Hold on. Sorry. Let me transition you into that.
Go for it. Good shot.
Speaking of one more thing, because we keep seeing speaking, and now it's like we can never stop it.
True.
I've been playing Hearthstone Battlegrounds. I know we're approaching the end of our pod here, so I have, instead of talking about that, I have a very small question, and we can keep it short, that I wanted to ask you, that I thought of while we were talking about it. In the one shot of Boku no Hero Academia, or My Hero Academia, Deku is an adult and not a child, and the story doesn't have anything to do with the school. He's an adult washed up hero or whatever that gets this power. Do you think that sounds good to you? Would you prefer Deku being an adult over being like 14 or whatever?
I don't care. Because Hori's not a good enough writer to do adults or children well, so it does not matter to me.
Okay, follow up. Do you think this would have been successful without the school premise attached to it?
No, not as successful. Potentially could still be successful. I think the school kid younger skew to My Hero is very much tied to its popularity. I think there's a lot of the younger generation who relate to being in a school and got into My Hero. I mean, the My Hero crowd skews younger from what I know, so...
I would say older generation too. I think that's the same reason Harry Potter is still popular with like 30s people. It's nice to imagine yourselves like, hey, what if I grew up and I went to a superhero school?
What if school wasn't shitty and cool?
You know what? UA does seem even shittier than my school experience. I mean,
they did day one say fight these literal Godzilla-sized robots, so...
6 months in, terrorists start attacking. Yeah, it's like...
No, not even 6 months in. It is like... Yeah. I'm trying to... Like, they fight off like 6 terrorist attacks, and it's been 12 weeks that these people have been heroes. They are still 15 years old, by the way, most of them.
They all need therapy. It's been like a few months, and they've gone through so many terrorist attacks.
All of this is in less than their first year of school, which is like actually the most insane part. I actually think the biggest change I would make to My Hero would be like spread it out over 3 years. Easy, super done. Tell me about Hearthstone Battlegrounds a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah. Let me talk about it because it's really fun. It is an auto chess game, like all auto chess games, like Teamfight Tactics, similar to that. Super Auto Pets, blah blah. They have added buddies, which is an old thing they used to have, where it's like a hero-specific minion, and that is a good addition because it spices up the game, and garbage heroes are playable again because they have cool minions, and that synergize with their kit. So
and you can now play in a way that says if you have a strong buddy, you can play really early game, get your buddy early. Now you're really strong. Yeah, I think buddies are a great addition in the same way that the Dark Moon prizes were good. Basically anything that sort of equalizes the board between, I got a good or bad hero, so I can win or lose the game, is great. And there are just a lot of really bad heroes and a lot of really strong always heroes. Yeah, buddies are good. Although the first day, which was yesterday, I guess, couldn't play a whole lot because I got disconnected. I think I played some today and it was fine. So
yeah, it's working again. So hit me with yours. What's your thing?
Cool. Speaking of good additions, Choujin X. I caught up on Choujin X fully. This is by Sui Ishida, known for Tokyo Ghoul. It's good. I have lots of little issues with it, but I will not take away that it is really pretty good and interesting and wild and fun enough that I didn't not enjoy reading the 45 or so chapters that it is. It does definitely have some issues. I actually think, again, when this gets animated, if this gets animated, this will be big. This will be improved. Most of my biggest issues with Ishida's writing, or Ishida's manga in general, is just his action is a little disjointed. His art is a little messy. I know a lot of people like the sort of chaotic, the kind of chaos that exists in his art. I don't particularly love it. I think that it makes fights hard to follow, and this is a battle shonen first and foremost. Some of the other things are just sort of like, so the powers that exist in Choujin X are the closest thing to devil fruit powers that I have ever seen. So, for instance, the main character is a vulture Choujin, right? His power is he can kind of transform into a vulture person. He has some vulture powers. He can fly. He has wings and talons. Like, okay, cool, vulture Choujin. One of the other Choujins you meet, right? Choujins are just powered people in this world. Is a snake Choujin. Okay, cool. They can turn to the snake. They can bite. They can kind of turn into lots of snakes. Makes sense. Later on, you get stuff like, oh, this guy, he's the, like, mind picture Choujin. And what he does is he can project anything he sees into your mind. It's like, all right, that's a little different, but I get it. And then there's, like, gravity Choujin, who, okay, he can... Yeah, and the powers just start getting, like, indescribably weirder. Like, one of the main girl's power is, like, smoke Choujin, but the smoke can get really hot. So it's like fire, but not fire, but it's drawn black. I literally think that Ishida wanted there's two people who have the smoke power. I think he wanted to make them fire Choujin, but he thought, oh, fire's been done too many times and I don't want to draw that much fire. And so he says, I'll just do smoke. It's easy. I just fill in black.
I think that's actually a cool choice. I agree.
It seems cool, but it's also like,
you reflavor fire to make it easier to draw, but I think it is more unique. So
it is definitely more unique. But then, I mean, there's people who are just like, oh, this is the body strength Choujin. They're just really strong. And then you'll also get like, oh, this is the power Choujin. They have control over everything that is powerful. They just have control over power in general. They can exert power over everything. They are universally good. They are a god. And it's like the power discrepancy between some of these different Choujin types are like,
I like that.
It's it's not bad. It's just it's messy, and I this is the same way I felt when I read a couple of chapters of Tokyo Ghoul. It's just kind of like it's good, and I think the character stuff is really strong when it's there. It's just a little chaotic and messy for me that makes me not enjoy it as much as I think I could. Which again, I do think that if or when this gets an anime, I'll be curious to see it because it has a really kind of neat twist on the world. It has, again, some of the chaotic art in it is really cool. Some of the spreads are cool. I think the character growth and stuff works. The most recent chapter that just came out that I caught up on last night is a cool kind of setup follow through on a time skip. So I am looking forward to what happens next because, long story short, heroes just kind of got like absolutely wrecked, saw what a real powerful Choujin is. They all kind of go their own way. One of them quits, the other two kind of reapply themselves and they go their own way and then we get a time skip and then the chapter ends. So I am more curious to see where it goes now because I think the character stuff is really strong in it, which I think is what Ishida is actually good at. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It's not great. It definitely feels like it starts stronger than Tokyo Ghoul. So I think if you like Tokyo Ghoul, and you have not read Choujin X, I think you will like Choujin X. I think it's a pretty good story so far. Even though it is a little negatively chaotic, I would say.
Got it. And I think you'd have similar complaints for Tokyo Ghoul, but I think you would like Tokyo Ghoul.
I might go back and read it now that I've sort of gotten here in Choujin X, and I am interested in Choujin X. I would like to get to at least get to the meme picture in Tokyo Ghoul, the hair and the whatever it is.
Yeah, the Joker arc. Yeah.
Yeah, Joker arc meme picture. I would like to get that far because I've heard that's a good arc and some good writing in there. So
I feel like One Piece has a lot of power discrepancy, like how you described. I think Luffy's power on paper makes it's like a stupid, shitty power, but he's going up against like gods of lightning and magma, and that's cool. Like his stupid rubber power is awesome. Like he's making it work. So I think it's cool to have like a dumb vulture. What a choice! It's just like a shitty bird that nobody likes,
I think the difference is that in One Piece, it's like, oh, this is Lava Man, and this is Stretchy Man, and Oda will go, nah, they're just as powerful. They can fight each other, and it's fine. In Choujin X, it's like, okay, this guy has control of gravity, and this guy's a bird, and the gravity guy absolutely fucking wrecks it. Like, there's just no way. There's just no chance. Like, one guy has a power. Actually, he has like multiple powers because he's like sewed other people's body parts onto him. One of his powers is just he has like a doorway in his wrist that exits through where this other like door is. And so he can just like throw things into his wrist and they come out the other side of the doorway. And it's just like, that's an incredibly strong power. Just having sort of like a keep anything, throw anything into there transportation thing. But yeah, I mean, it's not super long. So if you want to catch up and read it, like now's a good time to get into it. And also it just kind of ended its kind of introductory full arc, I would say. It's okay.
Is that guy the ruler of Stormvale Castle? Does he have a dragon for a hand? Is that who you're talking about?
This is not.
Godric the Grafted grafting shit on himself. No, okay. Speaking of which, that sounds like a podcast ending.
Speaking of you died.
Yeah,
it's the end of the podcast.
God, that was somehow our worst one.
That's my favorite one. Thanks for listening or watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the show, giving us more eyes and ears is a great way to support us. Click like, subscribe, or follow on whatever platform you're using. If you want to support the channel more directly, don't forget about Patreon, patreon.com/WGBmanga, where you can hear more of our secret special episodes. Check me out on Twitter at WGBmanga. As always, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks a bunch. I'll catch you later.
Speaking of thanks a bunch, don't forget to read more manga.
It's a good goof.